Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. And I can't believe I'm doing this, but yes, I'm doing a video complaining about the Skaven. Yep, it was bound to happen at one point. You see, the Skaven have always been fairly overpowered, not just because they've been receiving a lot of love in terms of content, but also just in general. But even I think that things are getting a bit too favoured on their behalf, and the most recent DLC and patch cycle kinda proves it. Never mind Frost and the broken mechanics you can implement through Clan Moulder, but rather through the introduction of the abandoned settlement mechanic. And why is this? Well, depending on which legendary lord you may choose, between 2 to 3 turns you can upgrade your starting settlement up to level 3. Or once again, depending on the legendary lord choice, if you waited 1 or 2 more turns, you can upgrade it to level 4. Now, as you may know, a bunch of the Skaven's most powerful buildings are locked behind tier 3 or tier 4, depending on the legendary lord choice. So being able to do that so early on into your campaign is kinda broken, if I can be honest with that myself. It can allow you to recruit a bunch of very powerful units very early on, and you'll start to steamroll early onto your campaign. I'm going to show you how to do this with each legendary lord, and bear in mind that I'll be doing this on easy mode and easy battles, but I have tested this on legendary mode and very hard battles, and once again it does work. So without further ado, let's go check out the legendary lords. Let's start with Throt the Unclean. His specific landmark is tied to tier 5, however he does have a resource building that when upgraded to level 3 will provide him with untainted bonuses, food generation +2 and growth juice +10 per turn, alongside some basic gold generation and some animal products to use as trade. All you simply need to do is attack the city that Throt spawns right next to. Depending on your difficulty, you may have to fight the battle or not, but after which, simply sack it and then move on. Next, simply recruit any lord choice, obviously with the higher the loyalty the better. From there, just abandon your settlement by clicking on the abandon settlement function and then end your turn. After which, you'll be able to just colonize it and build to your heart's content. You can wait a few extra turns and actually get it to level 4, but level 3 is generally what you need, where you'll have access to 6 building slots straight from the beginning, so at that point you can start building whatever you need, and of course build up anything in regards to public order, money generation, or even just different types of troops. The same could be done for Ikit Claw. However, Ikit has a much more beneficial building. Getting Skaven Blight to tier 3 will unlock the Warpstone Tractor Beam. This is an extremely powerful building if you can upgrade it to its 2nd tier, as of course this increases research rate for faction wide, recruit rank for all characters, extra Winds of Magic power reserve for all armies, +2 food generation, and also unlocks the recruitment of Rattling Guns, Warplock Jezails, and Warp Fire Throwers. This one is a little bit different. Simply just attack Tobaro and then raise it for the extra 2+ food. You'll also be able to raid it in most cases, however I've noticed that this is usually a bit of a drag because the AI for Astalia seems to always cause trouble here, but that's just really dependent on yourself as a player. Again, simply recruit a lord choice of your choice, abandon the settlement, and then just wait until turn 2. Once again, as soon as you start your 2nd turn, you'll be able to level it to turn 2. So once again, you'll have 6 building slots to be able to do as you please. And now once again for the Deathmaster. Sure, his starting location isn't great, and you'll already have access to his special building, but a few extra building slots will serve you well. You already start with a tier 2 capital, and leveling it up to level 3 will only unlock 1 extra slot, but then again everything helps, especially for harder difficulties. But again, simply just attack the army right in front of you, Now you can choose to kill them outright, or you can choose to just break them enough to fight them again a second time. With the first way, you will not have to recruit a second legendary lord, as you will be able to move back to the Flayed Rock with the Deathmaster. With the second way, it really depends as to where your army ends up, as the enemy army could flee quite far away. So you will need a second lord for this. However, as with both, simply just abandon the settlement and then just take it back. Once again, you're back up to tier 3, which means that you can build up your landmark and have 2 slots to do with whatever you wish. If you're playing in harder difficulties, might I suggest building up your garrison, as obviously since the area of Noblar country is so large, you might need a bit of defense as you take the other settlements. Tretch is one of those few lords that you might want the free turn method instead, mainly because he's in a weird place surrounded by dark elves and you never know when they could turn, so if you could already have a bit of a bonus, that would work out quite well for you. Simply move down to the Twisted Glade and end your turn. At that point, in most cases, the dark elves will move to attack your city. You can then move to attack them and move down to the Twisted Glade. Then once again recruit another lord, where I made a mistake here and recruited one with low loyalty, but it still ended up working out just the same. Then just abandon the settlement and end your turn. On the third turn, you can then attack the Twisted Glade, sack it, and then just colonize the ruins to level 3. This is by far the best method I have seen, as that leaves you with the Twisted Glade to be a sack city early on. And let's be very honest here, Tretch needs all the help he can get. Like, yeah, poor miserable Tretch. The favoured Sunqueak Headtaker can once again get his capital to level 3 in just turn 2. Move down to the Orc settlement right next to you, and whilst you do that, recruit a high loyalty lord choice. Then abandon your settlement as per usual and just skip to your next turn. After which, you can then sack the settlement and then you'll have enough food to be able to colonize your main capital to tier 3. This also leaves you with the Orcish settlement to use as a sack city to build up your food once again. Of course, beware that the Orcish faction might send an army from the south up to your north, but generally they won't move until you've already built up your walls. If they do move in, which sometimes does happen, you can simply just attack with Queek, so you'll be perfectly fine, or just move him close to the settlement capital and that will make the enemy army move away. And lastly, Lord Skroak of Clan Pestilence, the loneliest Skaven lord, as he is the only major Skaven lord in Lustria. Of course, he's on the same continent as Tretch, but who cares about Tretch? Now, he has some different buildings that could be used. The main ones, of course, being his headquarters and exotic animals. Those are 2 slots which would provide you with food, but you will need a 3rd slot to be able to recruit units. Other than slaves, of course. For this, just move as north as you can to the closest Skaven settlement. Ignore Lokir. He's going to go attack the Mark of the Old Ones and reduce their garrison for you. 9 out of 10 times he will just simply sack it and move on, which means that that's ripe for the picking for you to attack. At the beginning of your second turn, you'll then be able to attack the Mark of the Old Ones, as that has now been reduced and it will be easy pickings for you. Then simply recruit a lord of your choice and abandon the settlement, after which simply attack and sack the Mark of the Old Ones once again. Then you'll be able to have enough food to be able to colonize your main capital and rank it up to tier 3. As you could see, that was just from turn 2 and turn 3. You could wait 1 or 2 extra turns depending on your lord choice and be able to get up to rank 4 without a problem. This is kind of broken if I can be honest. It puts you at a massive head start, especially if you're playing harder campaigns. It's almost like the abandoned settlement function better serves the Skaven more than anyone else. Of course, it's still a very useful function, but it's very easily abused when it comes to a faction like the Skaven. Of course, you don't have to use this mechanic this way. However, I wanted to highlight this and show it off to anyone who might not be aware of this. And hey, if you want to do this for your campaigns, maybe you just need a little bit of extra help at the start, here you go. It might even give you incentive to try out harder difficulties, as it will give you a bit of an extra edge. Honestly, I'm not too sure why I didn't realize that this was a thing. I only realized when I made a mistake early on in my campaign. It's not a very new method per se. Many players will see their faction capitals being destroyed or razed by any rebellions or enemy armies in an effort for them to recapture it and level it up to its highest tier, but that usually takes a lot more turns, whereas with this you'll be able to get it to tier 3 or tier 4 relatively quickly. But that's all I've got to say about the matter. It's just something which I found rather interesting. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VSVasan, Aaron Whitman and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.